So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, was salatu was salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wa imamil mursaleen, Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een, Rabbi yassir wa in ya kareem, waftah lana bil haqqi anta al-fattahul alim. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima tu'allimuna wa zidna ilman yuqarribuna minka bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وهو حسبي ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ربي يسر وعين يا كريم وافتح لنا بالحق أنت الفتاح العليم. Oh Allah, we ask you for tawfiq, for ikhlas, we ask you for guidance, we ask you for steadfastness, we ask you for the grace to worship you, to come to know you, to adhere to the way of the master of creation, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to adhere to his way, not merely outwardly but inwardly, so that our inmost beings may be aligned to his inmost being, and so receive the divine grace. And if you afford us that divine grace, O Allah, then you grant us the strength to contain it and to bear it. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Last week we took a slight diversion from the Book of Assistance, and we went through the importance of making up or fulfilling the debt on your the prayers that you've missed over the course of your lifetime, from the time you reached puberty to whenever you started praying regularly. Leave it there, you keep it, someone else comes in, you give it to them. So included in that was a method of calculating the number of prayers that you need to perform. Some of you have contacted me and asked me if your calculations are correct. All right, I have actually taken out my calculator to check, but yes, if I was really clever, then it would be an automatic thing that would just spit out the number for you, but I'm not that clever, so I've got paper only. Many of you did not get the form last week, not that that should have prevented you from anything, but there are lots of forms today. If you have not already gone through the form, it is self-explanatory. Please fill it in, and do not be scared of the number that you see. Right? Do not be scared of the number that you see. Okay, I hope all of you have made a niyyah to start the performance of your Qada prayers, and I hope that if you have not made the niyyah to commence with the performance of your Qada prayers, the reason is that you don't have any. Okay, but this is absolutely critical. I wanted to ask before we continued if there were any other questions, either about the calculation or the method, or any challenges that you've experienced in starting to do so. Anyone, any comments or questions to ask? If not, we'll go on to the next chapter of...
So the periods, obviously there's a certain time I know I started reading regularly, and then from the age of puberty, and again, in between there are many periods, I think as you said, make a round guess. But then again, for Fridays, I know I never missed any Friday prayers, and so calculate, so how do I add up those?
Okay, so the question is, what if I've been intermittent with my prayers but regular with Jummah? I've always done Jummah. So if you've always done Jummah, then that's basically one Zuhr a week that you've completed. So it basically take the number of days, right, divide it by 7, that will give you the number of weeks you have to make up, and then subtract that number from the number of days just for the Zuhr. Does that make sense? So that type of thing. Other people have asked me this question about, I was kind of praying, but you know, I was kind of here and there, hit and miss. And I actually went through something with somebody, and I said, well, look, she said, but I really can't estimate it. There were times that I was reading 5 daily prayers. There were times that what do I do? I said, okay, is it like half and half? No, it's probably not half and half. Okay, was it slightly more that you were praying and slightly less that you weren't praying? Generally, if you just guesstimate over the course of your life? If so, then go that you prayed 4 days and you missed 3 days in each week. Was it slightly that you were praying slightly less than you weren't praying? In that case, go with you prayed for 3 days a week and you didn't pray for 4 days a week. If you know that you prayed here and there, but it was not very often, then go with 2 days in the week that you prayed. That's what I mean by guesstimating. I said this to you before. This is not about forensic auditing. It's not about capturing every single one. And this actually is a trick of the shaitan. Right? Shaitan attacks you in terms of your worship in several ways. The first is don't do it. Right? It's don't do it. Okay? If that doesn't work, it's do it at the last possible moment. Do it in the most haphazard manner you can do it. Just get it done. Right? You know, sunrise is 7 o'clock. Wake up at 5 to 7. You know, leap out of bed. Rush to the bathroom. Chuck some water over yourself. Rush back. Chuck some clothes on. And you can just about get your 2 fard of Zohar done before the sun rises. It's like you're praying with 1 foot on the horizon to stop the sun coming up. It's like that. All right? That's the second way that shaitan attacks you. Okay? If he cannot get you with either don't do it or do it but haphazardly, the third attack will be absolutely go gangbusters. Absolutely go full force into it. You go from 0 to 17 rakats of Isha. And I remember a period when I was doing this stuff with Hazrat, you know, going through the inward dimensions of prayer and so forth. And I remember Isha prayer taking me 1 hour. It would take me 1 hour to perform Isha. Because I was trying to implement every single adab, every single subtlety, all the contemplations that he had taught, and it would take me an hour to do 17 rakats. Yeah? Please make dua that for that sake Allah accepts me to paradise. Right? How long do you think that lasted? How long do you think I could sustain an hour-long Isha prayer? Yeah? Married, child, all that kind of stuff, right? Of course not. You can't sustain it, all right? Luckily, because I had the guidance of the Shaykh, I didn't drop down from that to 0. Isha is too hard, I'm just not going to read it, all right? The reason I stopped is that Hazrat said to me once, Beta, what you doing? I said, what do you mean, Hazrat? He said, well, you're praying for so long. Everybody's sitting down, but you're still praying. What's going on? I said, no, Hazrat, I'm trying to implement. He said, no, you don't do it like that. You don't do it like that. You won't be able to sustain it. Pick one thing and focus on that one lesson, and focus on that one lesson for that prayer. Next prayer, take one lesson and focus on it. And do it like that. Right? But otherwise, I would have dropped down from 17 rakats to 0. Because the third way that shaitan attacks you is to say, go full force gangbusters, right? I can barely walk from my lounge to my bathroom, or from my bedroom to my bathroom. But tomorrow I'm running the London Marathon. That's not how this works, right? You're not ready for that yet. So shaitan will do that in order that you'll do it for a week, 2 weeks, a month. But then you will get tired, and you will say, it's too much, I can't do it. And then you drop the entire thing. You don't just dial it down slightly, you drop the entire thing. It is too hard. Why has Allah made this religion so hard? That is the third way that shaitan attacks you. Boom and bust. Right? Cycles of boom and bust. Okay? There are other ways that he attacks you as well. I won't go through them. The next one is, you avoid all those. The next one is pride. Look at me. Aren't I amazing? Yeah, what's called ujub in Arabic, to be amazed at yourself. Okay? So, I am keen on you not saying where your Umar Qada prayers, your lifetime Qada prayers are concerned. I'm keen on you not falling to the trap of don't do it. Right? Just forget it. Right? Do it, but tomorrow. right? Because that's the famous one. That's right. Hazrat told every single person. I have told every single one of you who's taken bay'ah on my hands, you poor miskeen that have taken bay'ah on my hands. I've told every single one of you, when you took bay'ah, you must do your qada prayers. Right? How many of you started? How many of you made a firm niyyah to start tomorrow? I'll start tomorrow. I'll start on Jummah. I'll start the weekend when I got some time. Ramadan is coming. I'm going to start in Ramadan. Right? Delay. Tomorrow never comes. Right? Third, I am keen that you do not go to that boom and bust cycle where it becomes too much for you. And the way that shaitan will get you where that is concerned is he will try to make you overestimate the number of prayers you have performed. That you need to perform, I should say. Right? He will try to make you overestimate how many prayers you need to perform. So that when you look at that figure at the end, you just all the himmah just drains out of you. And you just think, I can't, this is impossible. This is just impossible. Okay? Do not commence your qada prayers with the expectation that you will complete all of them, that you will reach the goal. Commence them with the intention of getting onto the road. Because this road of God is a conveyor belt. It is, when you are on the road to God, it is a conveyor belt. What do I mean by that? The Prophet ﷺ said, when you take one step towards me, or you approach me by a hand span, I approach you by an arm span. Right? So this hand span, I approach you by an arm span. If you come to me walking, I come to you running. Now, so Allah is running towards you? No. What does it mean? Easy for us to understand. It's a conveyor belt. Right? It's, what are those things called? The trambulators. Travelators. It's one of those, right? You know when you go on the airport and stuff, right? You get on that thing, right? And all the kids love doing this, right? Which is that you take one step and it's like you've taken 3 steps. Right? You take another step, it's like you've taken 6 steps. Right? And even if you try to go backwards, you're still going forwards. Right? Even if you stand still, you're still going forwards. Okay? That is what the road to Allah is like. When you get on the road to Allah, it is like you are on a travelator. You are on a conveyor belt. You will be carried forward. So you just make the intention of stepping onto it. And then you go one day at a time. That's why I said don't start taking off. You do one day today. I'm going to take it off from my 7,482. Oh, now it's 7,841. Right? You'll lose hope very quickly. Okay? Right? So when you calculate, do so in a manner that is fair to yourself. Not I have to catch every single one. I have to be there and thereabouts. That's what we're aiming for here. And the reason that we calculate it is that so that there is an end. So you don't just say, I'm just going to do this the rest of my life. Because you'll be making up prayers that you never missed. At some point, a day is going to come when you are making up prayers that you never missed. Okay? Any other questions about the qada prayers? How many of you have started? Hands up. Okay. How many of you have calculated? Hands up. All right. I'm going to ask you again next week. I expect more hands to go up. I expect more hands to go up. Okay? Allah make it easy for you all, inshallah. Bismillah.